Hi, I'm Simon Wickenden,
Hi, I'm Martin Guthrie,
and we're back again to talk to you about Oracle licensing.
and today's topic is
Well, virtualization and a little bit around when you might not need a license.
virtualization is pretty simple, isn't it? Carve up what you need, put a OS on it, and run your database. Is that right?
Not quite that simple around licensing, I'm afraid.
Oh, why is that?
Um, Oracle view virtualization as a way of moving workloads around.
Okay.
And obviously, that gives you a good commercial benefit, i.e., if you're using it in one location and you want to use it in a different location the next day, there's a value in that. If that server had gone down, you're running it somewhere else. And unfortunately, that means that Oracle want you to pay for
But-
that
But what
business benefit.
happens if I'm a customer? I'm just using two vCPUs and running an Oracle workload on there. Two vCPUs are two vCPUs, isn't it?
No.
Oh.
So it is, in a way, but because there's no way of Oracle auditing where those two vCPUs have been the day before or where they're going to be the day after, Oracle's view with virtualization is you need to license the hardware that is running on and the hardware that workload could be running on.
So what you're saying is Oracle's view is it could be running anywhere. So really, you need to license that anywhere.
In a way, yeah. There are ways of restricting it, which we're not going to go into in this video because they're quite specific. But there are ways of restricting it that can be done. And again, the reason we're here as Arrow is to help you with those. But no, you want to license the framework as it is. There are some ways of getting around it, though.
Please tell.
So, for instance, if you're using Standard Edition, Standard Edition 2 database, for instance, requires 10 named users per server. So if you had 100 users and a farm of, say, 6 servers, 10 named users per server, you'd only need 60 users as a minimum to cover the hardware. So 100 users is more than you require, and you could license the whole farm with named users.
Okay, that makes sense.
Those users can then move around. So you don't have to have 10 users on each platform. You could have all 100 on one.
As a collective.
But as a collective, you need to license the minimum for the hardware.
Okay.
So that's one way around it. With older Standard Edition, so Standard Edition and Standard Edition 1, which disappeared in 2015, if you've got those older licenses, you actually only need 5 named users for a company. So if you're running those versions, there is no restriction at all. But, and this is a big but, this is where a number of our customers have been caught out. When they've upgraded the version of database they're using to version 12, therefore having to migrate to Standard Edition 2, you've got to remember that you're changing the license restriction. So you're now needing 10 named users per server rather than 5 for the company. So you've got to be careful with that.
So really, customers got to be careful. It's not about what they bought then; it's what they're using now.
Correct. Very much so.
And so really, the advice would be to come talk to us, put forward the idea of what they're wanting to do. You know, whether it's a sale or not, we're happy to help.
Absolutely give them advice. That's not a problem at all. The other thing that is probably worth mentioning is if you don't already own the licenses, if this is a new license purchase, Oracle will negotiate. So if you've got a VMware or a Hyper-V farm and you want to deploy Oracle licenses in it, if you know that up front and you're upfront about it, commercial models can be put in place that make sense on that platform. So it's not cut and dry. Everything's up for negotiation.
Okay, so the best thing to do really, if in doubt, is really have the conversation before you go and deploy something, before you actually think you've got the right commercials in place, and ratify that for use of virtualization.
Talk to us first. Absolutely. That's virtualization kind of covered off, but it does kind of lead to the other area. There are a number of reasons why you may not need licensing at all.
Please tell.
For instance, if you're doing a restore test, so if you back up your database religiously, but obviously you want to restore it, do you need to license the platform you restore on? And the answer is, if you do 4 or less tests a year, and those tests last between 1 and 2 days, then you don't. You can put that on a platform purely for that test, just to make sure everything's working, make sure all the data's in there, play around with it, but doesn't need a license.
Is this the 10-day rule I've been hearing about?
10-day rule is something completely different. 10-day rule is around high availability. So the 10-day rule that people talk about is purely for requirements where you have 2 servers attached to a single storage array and you fail the data from one machine to another. But it is literally in the same data center with a single storage array or single SAN. So this can't be multi-data center. This isn't when you've got multiple copies of the data. It's purely that use case.
So it's not a DR solution, I guess.
Not a DR solution at all. In fact, a number of customers have fallen into that trap as well. DR solutions have to be licensed. Full stop.
Because I guess, is that because it is then a production environment when it falls over into DR?
It would be a production environment if it fell over.
Okay.
Yeah, and
any other exceptions?
not really. That's pretty much it in terms of exceptions.
I guess there will be nuances that will come up with different customer requirements. I guess the rule for our partners would be, if in doubt, give us a shout on there and we can look into them.
Again, nuances around commercials made at the time of ordering always can change. Oracle will negotiate. They're not this hard draconian organisation that people see them as. They will work out the right deal for you, and Arrow can help you get there.
Okay, thank you.
That was the topic, I think, of virtualization and some of the exceptions that we wanted to cover today. We've got one more video to go, and in that video we'll be talking about cloud and how you license in cloud.
Okay, right. Thank you.
As ever, remember that Arrow are here to help you. So that's not only us, but the whole team. Details of everyone that's involved in the Oracle Business Unit at Arrow will be in the pack. Click and download, but also click to register for your Mission Red Arrow points, if applicable. That'll all be in the notes below.
That's great. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.